Amora's small body slammed into the tall man's legs outside San Francisco General Hospital. Pain shot through her already injured wrist, and she crumpled to the wet sidewalk. Rain mixed with her tears as she looked up at the stranger towering above her. His expensive suit was now splattered with mud from her fall. "Please don't hurt me, I'm already injured," 7-year-old Amora whispered, cradling her swollen wrist against her chest. Purple bruises covered her arms and knees, visible beneath her torn jacket. Her brown eyes, wide with fear, searched the man's face for any sign of anger. Theodore Castellanos froze. The little girl's words hit him harder than her collision had. He immediately knelt on the cold pavement, ignoring the rain soaking through his $1,000 pants. Up close, he could see she was trembling, not just from cold but from pain and fear. "Hey, I'm not going to hurt you," Theo said softly, keeping his hands visible and non-threatening. "My name is Theo. You're hurt. Can you tell me what happened?" Amora's lip quivered. "I fell at the playground 3 hours ago. I can't find my mama. She's working. I walked here but they said I need an adult." Theo's heart clenched. This child had walked to the hospital alone, injured and scared. "I'm an adult. Will you let me help you? We can get you seen by a doctor right now. You promise you won't hurt me?" Amora asked, her voice so small. "I promise. Come on, let's get you inside." When Theo gently offered his hand, Amora took it. She didn't refuse his help because she was desperate, cold, and in more pain than she'd ever felt. They walked through the emergency room doors together, Amora leaning slightly against this stranger who smelled like expensive cologne and kindness. The intake nurse's eyes widened at the sight of the impeccably dressed man with a limping gait, holding hands with a clearly injured child. Before she could speak, Theo's voice carried the unmistakable tone of someone used to being obeyed. "This child needs immediate medical attention. Possible fracture, multiple contusions. I'm covering all expenses. Get Dr. Kim if she's available." The nurse jumped into action. Within minutes, they were in a private examination room. Amora sat on the paper-covered table, still clutching Theo's hand like a lifeline. She hadn't let go since the sidewalk. "What's your full name, sweetheart?" Theo asked gently. "Amora Johnson. I'm 7 3/4. That's a beautiful name. And very grown up to know the 3/4 part." Theo smiled at her, and for the first time, Amora smiled back, tiny and uncertain. A doctor in blue scrubs entered, her kind face softening when she saw Amora. "I'm Dr. Rachel Kim. Let's see what we're dealing with here." As Dr. Kim began her examination, Amora winced but stayed brave. Theo stayed right beside her, offering comfort without being asked. When Amora squeezed his hand during a particularly painful moment, he squeezed back gently. "You're being so brave," he told her. "My mama says Johnson women are strong," Amora replied, though her voice shook. Dr. Kim looked up at Theo with concern. "She has a fractured wrist, definitely. We need x-rays to confirm, but I'm certain. These bruises, though, are consistent with a significant fall. She's lucky it wasn't worse. Do whatever she needs," Theo said immediately. "Money is not a concern. Do you think more people would help children in need if they witnessed moments like this? Drop a comment below with your thoughts, and subscribe to see how this story unfolds." Amora looked between the two adults, confusion crossing her young face. "Are you rich?" Theo chuckled softly. "Yes, I am. Does that scare you?" She thought about it seriously. "No. Rich people on TV are mean sometimes. But you're nice. You have sad eyes like you know what hurting feels like." The observation stunned Theo into silence. This perceptive child had seen something in him that most adults missed. He did know what hurting felt like, in more ways than one. "You're right, Amora. I do know. That's why I want to help you feel better." The X-ray confirmed Dr. Kim's diagnosis. Amora's left wrist had a clean break that would require a cast for 6 weeks. As the doctor prepared the casting materials, Theo stepped out to make phone calls. His assistant, Nicole Rivera, answered on the first ring. "Nicole, I need you to track down contact information for a Patricia Johnson. She works somewhere in the city, probably healthcare or service industry. She has a 7-year-old daughter named Amora. Right away, Mr. Costillanos. Is everything all right? Just find her, please. It's urgent. Back in the examination room, a nurse was helping Amora choose a cast color. The little girl's eyes lit up when she saw purple among the options. Purple is my favorite, she said quietly. It's like the sky right before night comes. The nurse smiled. Purple it is, then. Theo returned as they began applying the cast. He watched Amora's face carefully, ready to comfort her if the process became too overwhelming. But she sat still, focused on watching the nurse work with fascination rather than fear. Does it hurt? Amora asked. The cast itself doesn't hurt, the nurse explained. It might feel warm while it dries, and a little tight, but that's normal. It's going to protect your wrist while the bone heals. How long until I can write again? I'm learning cursive. About 6 weeks, honey. But you can still do lots of things. You'll just need to be careful. Theo's phone buzzed. Nicole had found 3 Patricia Johnsons matching the criteria, complete with work addresses. He scanned the list and noticed one worked at a nursing home just 4 blocks from the playground Amora had mentioned. Amora, does your mama work at Sunset Gardens nursing home? The little girl's face brightened. Yes. She takes care of old people. She says they have good stories. Can I call her for you? Amora nodded eagerly. She's gonna be so worried. I was supposed to stay at the after-school program. Theo dialed the number, identifying himself to the receptionist and explaining the situation calmly but firmly. Within 2 minutes, Patricia Johnson was on the line, her voice tight with panic. Is my baby okay? Please tell me she's okay. Ms. Johnson, my name is Theodore Costillanos. Amora is safe. She's here at San Francisco General with me. She has a broken wrist, but she's been very brave. The doctor has already taken care of her. Oh God. Oh God. I'm coming right now. I can't, I have to, my shift doesn't end for 2 more hours but... Take your time getting here safely, Theo interrupted gently. She's in good hands, I promise. All the medical bills have been handled. Just focus on getting here. There was a long pause. You paid. But I can't, that's going to be thousands. It's already done, Ms. Johnson. We can discuss it when you arrive. Right now, Amora just needs to know you're coming. Another pause, then a shaky breath. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll be there in 20 minutes. When Theo hung up, Amora was looking at him with something like wonder. You told her not to worry about money? Your mama has enough to worry about, making sure you're okay. Money is something I can help with. But you don't even know us. Theo sat down beside her, careful not to jostle her newly casted arm. Sometimes people help each other just because it's the right thing to do. No other reason needed. Amora processed this, her young mind working through concepts of kindness and generosity. At school, they say nothing is free. Everything costs something. Smart school. But here's the thing, sometimes the cost is just being willing to accept help when you need it. Can you do that? She nodded slowly. I think so. I don't really have a choice, do I? You always have a choice, Amora. I'm just glad you're choosing to let me help. Dr. Kim returned with discharge papers and care instructions. She went over everything with Theo, who listened intently and asked questions. Pain management, keeping the cast dry, signs of circulation problems, follow-up appointments. He committed it all to memory. She'll need physical therapy once the cast comes off, Dr. Kim added. I can recommend several good pediatric therapists. Send me all the information. Whatever she needs. The doctor studied him curiously. You're very kind to do this for someone you just met. Theo glanced at Amora, who had fallen into an exhausted doze in the hospital bed. She reminds me of myself at that age. Lost, hurt, and trying to be brave. Someone helped me then. I'm just passing it forward. Patricia Johnson burst through the emergency room doors like a force of nature. Her nurse's scrubs were wrinkled from a double shift, her natural hair pulled back in a hasty bun, and her face showed the kind of exhaustion that came from working 60-hour weeks to keep a roof over her child's head. "Amora," she called out, her voice cracking. Theo stepped into the hallway. "Ms. Johnson." "This way." Patricia followed him, her eyes scanning him quickly. Expensive suit, confident posture, the kind of man who didn't belong in county hospital waiting rooms. Suspicion and gratitude warred on her face. When she saw Amora sleeping peacefully, purple cast resting on a pillow, Patricia's knees nearly gave out. Theo caught her elbow gently. "She's okay," he said quietly. "The break was clean. 6 weeks in the cast and she'll be good as new." Patricia sank into the chair beside Amora's bed, taking her daughter's good hand in both of hers. Tears streamed down her face, silent and relieved. She pressed kisses to Amora's forehead, her fingers, anywhere she could reach without disturbing the injured arm. "Baby girl," she whispered. "My brave baby girl." Amora stirred, her eyes fluttering open. "Mama. I'm here, sweetness. I'm right here. I'm sorry I left the after-school program. Tommy dared me to jump off the high bars and I wanted to show him I could." "Sure, we'll talk about that later. Right now I'm just glad you're safe." Mother and daughter held each other, and Theo quietly stepped back to give them privacy. He watched from the doorway, something warm and unfamiliar stirring in his chest. Family. This was what family looked like, real and messy and full of love. After a few minutes, Patricia looked up at him, really looked at him. "You're the man who called me." "Theodore." "Call me Theo, please." "Mr. Castellanos, I." She started, then stopped, gathering her composure. "Thank you for helping my daughter. Thank you for staying with her. Thank you for calling me. I don't know how to repay." "There's nothing to repay." Patricia's jaw tightened. "The hospital bills. I saw the paperwork. That's almost $8,000 with the x-rays, the cast, the doctor's fees. I can't accept that. I'll set up a payment plan." Theo moved closer, his voice gentle but firm. "Ms. Johnson, with respect, I can afford $8,000 more easily than you can afford $80. The money means nothing to me. But Amora getting proper care, that means everything. Please accept this help." "I don't take charity," Patricia said, her pride evident in every word. "It's not charity. Think of it as one human being helping another. If our positions were reversed, and you found my child hurt and alone, wouldn't you want to help?" Patricia looked at her daughter, then back at Theo. She saw something in his eyes, sincerity that couldn't be faked. Slowly, she nodded. "Yes. I would help." "Then let me do the same. Please." The word please broke through her defenses. This billionaire, and she'd figured out that's what he was from the way everyone in the hospital deferred to him, was asking her permission. Not demanding, not pitying, just asking. "Okay," Patricia said softly. "Okay. Thank you, Theo. Thank you so much." "You're welcome." Now, Dr. Kim left care instructions. Amora will need follow-up appointments, and eventually physical therapy. "I'd like to help with those costs too." Patricia started to protest, but Theo held up a hand. "Before you say no, think about this. Would you rather spend the next 6 months working extra shifts to pay medical bills, or would you rather spend that time with Amora while she heals? She needs her mother right now, not her mother's money." It was the perfect argument, and Patricia knew it. Everything in her wanted to refuse, to maintain her independence, to prove she could handle this alone. But looking at Amora's sleepy face, her baby's arm in that purple cast, Patricia made a choice. "I'll accept your help with the medical expenses. For Amora's sake." Theo smiled, a real smile that transformed his usually serious face. "That's all I ask. Would you make the same choice Patricia did? Is accepting help a sign of strength or weakness? Share your opinion in the comments and subscribe to see what happens next." Dr. Kim entered with discharge papers and a prescription for pain medication. "She's all set to go home. Keep the cast dry, watch for any swelling or discoloration in her fingers, and here's the number for scheduling her follow-up in 2 weeks." Theo took the papers. "I'll make sure she gets to all her appointments." Patricia blinked at him. "You will? If you'll let me." I'd like to stay involved in Amora's recovery. Make sure she has everything she needs. Why? Patricia asked bluntly. Why do you care so much? Theo was quiet for a moment, then he pushed up his right pant leg slightly, revealing a brace on his ankle and lower calf. When I was 8, I broke my leg badly. My family couldn't afford proper treatment. It healed wrong. I've walked with a limp ever since. I don't want Amora to carry any lasting pain from this if I can prevent it. Understanding dawned in Patricia's eyes. You're making sure she gets what you didn't. Yes. Exactly that. 2 days later, Theo showed up at Patricia and Amora's apartment in the Tenderloin district. The building was old but clean, the kind of place where working families did their best with very little. He knocked on apartment 3B, carrying bags from the pharmacy and a children's bookstore. Patricia opened the door, surprise crossing her face. She'd given him her address for sending appointment reminders, not expecting him to actually visit. Theo, what are you doing here? I brought Amora some things to help with her recovery. May I come in? Patricia hesitated, then stepped aside. The apartment was tiny, maybe 500 square feet, but immaculately kept. Children's drawings covered one wall, and textbooks were stacked neatly on a small desk. Amora sat on the couch, her casted arm propped on pillows, watching a nature documentary. Mr. Theo, Amora said, her face lighting up. You came to visit me. I told you I would. How's the arm feeling? It itches. Mama says I can't stick anything in the cast to scratch. Your mama's right. But I brought you some things that might help take your mind off the itching. Theo set the bags on the coffee table. Inside were puzzle books, colored pencils designed for one-handed use, a collection of age-appropriate novels, and a small tablet loaded with educational games. Patricia's eyes widened. Theo, this is too much. It's just enough. Amora's going to be home from school for at least a week while she adjusts to the cast. She needs things to keep her mind active. I have homework, Amora offered. But I can't write very good with my wrong hand. That's actually something I wanted to talk to you about, Theo said, looking at Patricia. I'd like to arrange for a tutor to come here for a few weeks. Someone who can help Amora keep up with her schoolwork and learn techniques for managing with one hand. A tutor, Patricia repeated slowly. That's expensive. I have a friend who runs an education non-profit. She owes me a favor. This won't cost you anything. Patricia crossed her arms. Why are you doing all this? People don't just help like this without wanting something. Theo met her eyes steadily. I don't want anything except to see Amora heal properly. Is that so hard to believe? In my experience. Yes. Amora looked between the adults, sensing tension. Mama, Mr. Theo is nice. He stayed with me at the hospital when I was scared. He didn't have to do that. Patricia's expression softened. She knelt beside her daughter. You're right, baby. I'm sorry. I'm just not used to people helping without strings attached. No strings, Theo promised. Just help, freely given. Will you accept it? Patricia took a deep breath. She thought about the tutoring Amora would miss, the falling behind in school, the potential long-term consequences. She thought about her pride versus her daughter's future. The choice was clear. Yes. We accept. Thank you. Good. The tutor's name is Mrs. Campbell. She's retired from teaching but still loves working with kids. She'll come 3 times a week starting Monday. Amora bounced excitedly on the couch. A tutor just for me. Just for you. And she's going to help you learn to write with your right hand so you don't fall behind. Over the next hour, Theo sat with Amora while she showed him her schoolwork. Patricia made tea and watched them interact, seeing how patient Theo was with her daughter's questions, how he treated her like her thoughts mattered. It had been a long time since Amora had positive male attention in her life. Mama says my daddy left before I was born, Amora said suddenly, the kind of honest statement children make without realizing the weight of their words. Do you have kids? Theo's expression flickered with something Patricia couldn't quite identify. No, I don't. I work a lot, so I've never had time for a family. That's sad. Families are important. You're absolutely right. They are. Patricia intervened gently. Amora, that's personal stuff. We don't ask people about that. It's okay, Theo assured her. She's curious. That's good. He stayed for another hour, helping Amora set up the tablet and showing her some of the educational games. When he finally stood to leave, Amora hugged him with her good arm. Thank you for the presents. And for being my friend. You're very welcome, Amora. I'll check on you in a few days. Patricia walked him to the door. In the hallway, she spoke quietly so Amora wouldn't hear. I need to understand something. Why us? Why my daughter? You could help anyone. Theo looked at her, really looked at her, seeing the exhaustion and strength in equal measure. Because when I saw her on that sidewalk, hurt and scared, I saw myself. And I have the power to make her path easier than mine was. Doesn't that reason make sense? Patricia nodded slowly. It does. I'm sorry for being suspicious. Don't apologize for protecting your daughter. That's what good mothers do. As Theo walked away, Patricia stood in the doorway, watching him go. Something told her this man was going to change their lives in ways she couldn't yet imagine. 3 weeks passed, and Theo became a regular presence in Amora and Patricia's life. He stopped by twice a week, always bringing something useful. Books, art supplies, healthy snacks. Never anything so extravagant that Patricia would refuse it, but enough to make a difference. Mrs. Campbell, the tutor, was a blessing. She helped Amora not just keep up with schoolwork, but excel. The little girl's natural curiosity blossomed under focused attention. One Thursday evening, Theo arrived to find Amora crying quietly on the couch, her homework spread out in front of her. What's wrong? He asked immediately, sitting beside her. I can't do fractions, she sobbed. Everybody else can, but I'm too stupid. Hey, none of that, Theo said gently. You're not stupid. Fractions are hard. Can I tell you a secret? Amora looked up at him with watery eyes. What? When I was your age, I was terrible at fractions too. I thought I'd never understand them. Really? Really? Want to know what helped me? She nodded eagerly. Pizza. Every time I had to work with fractions, I imagined a pizza cut into pieces. 1/2, 1/4, 3/8, whatever. Made it much easier to picture. Amora giggled despite her tears. Pizza fractions? Try it. Show me your homework. They spent the next 30 minutes working through fraction problems, imagining pizzas and cakes and pies. By the end, Amora was smiling, getting answers right, gaining confidence with every success. Patricia watched from the kitchen, her heart doing something complicated in her chest. She'd been alone in raising Amora for so long, handling everything herself. Watching someone else care about her daughter's struggles, someone who didn't have to but chose to anyway, stirred feelings she'd thought long buried. You're good with her, Patricia said later, after Amora had gone to bed. Theo was gathering his things to leave. She's easy to be good with. She's smart and kind. She gets that from her grandmother. My mama raised me to be strong and kind both. She passed 2 years ago. I'm sorry. Thank you. It's been hard without her. She helped with Amora while I worked. After she died, everything got harder. They were quiet for a moment, the weight of shared grief hanging between them. My father died when I was 10, Theo offered. Construction accident. We went from barely making it to not making it at all. That's when I broke my leg, actually. Running from some kids who were bullying me for my free lunch status. Fell down a hill and snapped the bone clean through. Patricia's hand went to her mouth. Oh, Theo. My mother couldn't afford the surgery I needed. The bone set wrong. I've had this limp ever since. It's a constant reminder of what poverty costs. Is that why you built your company? To escape that? Partly. Also to make sure other kids don't have to go through what I did. My company develops affordable medical technology. We make devices that help people who couldn't otherwise afford treatment. Patricia looked at him with new understanding. You're trying to fix a broken system. One invention at a time. It's not enough, but it's something. It's more than something. It's everything to the people you help. Theo smiled at her, a soft smile that made him look younger. People like Amora. People like Amora, Patricia agreed. They stood there in her tiny living room, looking at each other, and something shifted. An awareness that this was becoming more than just a man helping a child. This was becoming a connection. I should go, Theo said, not moving. Yeah, Patricia agreed, not moving either. Finally, Theo stepped toward the door. Same time next week. We'll be here. After he left, Patricia sat on her couch, thinking about brown eyes that held sadness and kindness in equal measure. Thinking about a man who walked with a limp but never let it slow him down. Thinking about how her carefully controlled life was starting to feel different. Amora called out from her bedroom. Mama, is Mr. Theo coming back? Yes, baby. He's coming back. Good. I like him. He makes you smile. Patricia touched her face, realizing she was indeed smiling. Yeah, baby. He does. 6 weeks later, Amora's cast came off. Theo took them both to the appointment, watching as the doctor carefully cut away the purple fiberglass that had protected her wrist. Underneath, the skin was pale and slightly wrinkled, but the bone had healed perfectly. Beautiful healing, Dr. Kim declared. She'll need physical therapy for a few weeks to regain full strength and flexibility, but this is an ideal outcome. Amora flexed her fingers experimentally. It feels weird. That's normal. The physical therapist will help you get back to normal. In a few months, you won't even remember having the cast. Theo had already arranged for the physical therapy, of course. 3 sessions a week at a pediatric rehabilitation center that specialized in children's injuries. Patricia had stopped arguing about the costs. She'd learned that Theo would help whether she protested or not, and her energy was better spent on gratitude than pride. After the appointment, Theo took them to lunch at a family-friendly restaurant Amora loved. Over burgers and fries, he watched Patricia and her daughter interact with easy affection, the kind of bond that came from years of being a team of 2 against the world. I need to talk to you about something, Theo said to Patricia after Amora had run off to the restaurant's small play area. Patricia's stomach tightened. This sounded serious. Okay. My company is expanding our community outreach division. We're creating a program to help low-income families access medical care and technology. I need someone to run it, someone who understands the community we're trying to serve. Someone who's lived the struggle and knows what people actually need. Patricia listened carefully, not sure where this was going. I want to offer you the position. Director of Community Outreach. It comes with a full benefits package, healthcare, dental, vision, retirement matching, and a salary of $75,000 a year. Patricia nearly choked on her water. $75,000? That's the starting salary. With performance reviews, it could increase. You'd work reasonable hours, no more double shifts. Weekends off. Time with Amora. Theo, I'm a nursing assistant. I don't have experience running programs. You have something more valuable than experience. You have empathy and understanding. You know what it's like to choose between medication and groceries. You know how the system fails people. That knowledge is worth more than any degree. But I'm not qualified. I'm qualified to decide who's qualified, Theo interrupted gently. And I'm telling you, you are. We'll provide training, support, everything you need. But the heart of this program needs to be someone who truly cares. That's you, Patricia. She stared at him, overwhelmed. This is too much. The medical bills, the tutor, now a job. I feel like I'm drowning in debt to you. You don't owe me anything. I'm offering you a job because you're the right person for it, not because of Amora's accident. Though I'll admit, getting to know you both showed me what kind of person you are. Patricia's eyes filled with tears. I don't know what to say. Say yes. Say you'll take the job and give yourself a chance at something better. Say you'll accept this help the same way you accepted help with Amora's medical care. Because you deserve it. In what world does someone get offered their dream job by a billionaire who just happened to help their daughter? Drop a comment telling us if this seems too good to be true, and subscribe to see if Patricia's luck holds. Patricia looked across the restaurant at Amora, who was laughing on the slide, her newly freed wrist already bending and flexing naturally. Her daughter deserved stability. Regular meals, good healthcare, a mother who wasn't exhausted all the time. This job could give them all of that. Yes, Patricia said, wiping her eyes. Yes, I'll take the job. Theo's smile was genuine and warm. You won't regret this. When do I start? 2 weeks. That gives you time to give notice at your current jobs and prepare. My assistant Nicole will handle all the paperwork and get you set up. Patricia reached across the table and took his hand. Thank you, Theo. Thank you for seeing something in me worth investing in. I see a lot worth investing in, he said quietly, and something in his tone made her heart skip. They sat there, hands joined across the table, until Amora came running back, breathless and happy. Mama, did you see how high I went on the slide? My wrist didn't even hurt. I saw, baby. You were so brave. Mr. Theo, did you see? I saw. You're healing perfectly, just like the doctor said. Amora beamed at both of them. This is the best day ever. Patricia met Theo's eyes over her daughter's head, seeing warmth and something more reflected there. Yeah, baby. It really is. Patricia's first day at Castellanos Technologies felt like stepping into another world. The building was all glass and steel, modern and impressive. Her new office had a window overlooking the bay, a computer that actually ran fast, and supplies that didn't need to be rationed. Nicole Rivera, Theo's assistant, showed her around with friendly efficiency. Conference room is down the hall. Break room has coffee that's actually decent. And Theo's office is on the top floor if you need anything. Does he know I'm terrified? Patricia asked with a nervous laugh. Nicole smiled. First days are always scary. But Theo picked you for a reason. Trust that. The job was challenging but fulfilling. Patricia spent her days meeting with community organizations, designing outreach programs, and connecting families with resources. For the first time in years, she used her brain for something more than survival logistics. Theo checked in regularly, offering guidance without micromanaging. Their professional relationship was easy, built on mutual respect. But there was also something else, a tension that crackled between them during late afternoon meetings when the office was quiet. With her new salary, Patricia moved Amora into a better apartment in a safer neighborhood. 2 bedrooms, a real kitchen, windows that didn't stick. Amora's new school was excellent, with art programs and science labs and teachers who had time to actually teach. Mama, I love our new home, Amora said one evening, sprawled on the living room floor doing homework. Can we invite Mr. Theo for dinner to say thank you? Patricia's heart fluttered. I don't know if he'd want to come. Why not? He likes us. He's very busy, baby. Just ask. He always says yes when you ask him stuff. Amora wasn't wrong. Theo had never refused a single request Patricia had made. So the next day at work, she knocked on his office door. Come in. Theo looked up from his computer, his face softening when he saw her. Patricia. What can I do for you? Amora wanted me to invite you to dinner. At our place. As a thank you for everything you've done. You don't need to thank me. I know. But we want to. Would you come? Saturday night? Theo considered, then nodded. I'd like that. What time? 6 o'clock. I'll be there. Saturday arrived too quickly. Patricia spent all afternoon cooking, her grandmother's recipes coming back to her like muscle memory. Fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, collard greens, cornbread. Food made with love and care. Amora helped set the table, insisting on using their nice plates. It has to be special, Mama. When Theo knocked at 6 o'clock sharp, Amora raced to answer the door. He came bearing flowers for Patricia and a board game for Amora. You didn't have to bring anything, Patricia said, accepting the beautiful bouquet of lilies and roses. I wanted to. Thank you for inviting me. Dinner was comfortable and warm. They ate at the small dining table, talking and laughing. Theo complimented the food genuinely, going back for seconds. Amora chatted about school, her friends, her new favorite books. Mrs. Campbell says I'm reading at a 5th grade level now, Amora announced proudly. That's because you work hard, Theo told her. Keep that up and there's nothing you can't accomplish. After dinner, they played the board game Theo had brought. Amora won twice, celebrating with uninhibited joy. When bedtime came, she hugged Theo goodnight without hesitation. I'm glad you're our friend, she told him. I'm glad too, Amora. After Patricia tucked Amora into bed, she returned to find Theo washing dishes in her kitchen. You don't have to do that. I want to help. You cooked this amazing meal. They worked side by side, falling into an easy rhythm. Patricia washed, Theo dried. The kitchen felt smaller with both of them in it, but in a good way. Thank you for tonight, Theo said quietly. I can't remember the last time I had a real family dinner. Thank you for coming. It meant a lot to Amora. To both of us. They finished the dishes in comfortable silence. When everything was clean and put away, they stood in the kitchen, neither quite ready for the evening to end. I should go, Theo said. Yeah, Patricia agreed, but neither of them moved. Patricia, I need to tell you something. Her heart raced. Okay. These past few months, getting to know you and Amora, it's been the best part of my life. You're both so important to me. You're important to us too. I'm trying to say that this feels like more than friendship. At least for me. And I need to know if you feel it too, or if I'm completely misreading things. Patricia took a breath. You're not misreading anything. I feel it too. But it's complicated. Why? Because you're my boss. Because you've done so much for us already. Because I don't want you to think I have feelings for you out of gratitude or obligation. Theo stepped closer. I don't think that. I think you're an incredible woman who's worked hard for everything she has. I think you're strong and kind and beautiful. And I think if you feel even a fraction of what I feel, we owe it to ourselves to see where this goes. Patricia looked up at him, seeing sincerity in every line of his face. I do feel it. I've been trying not to, but I do. Then stop trying not to. Let yourself feel it. Let me feel it. We'll figure out the rest together. You're sure? I've never been more sure of anything. Patricia smiled, really smiled. Okay then. Okay. Okay, let's see where this goes. Theo's answering smile was brilliant. He didn't kiss her, not yet. That would come later. For now, they just stood together in her small kitchen, hands almost but not quite touching, both of them grinning like teenagers. Over the next month, Theo and Patricia dated carefully and deliberately. They went to museums, walked along the waterfront, attended concerts. They talked for hours about everything and nothing. Theo learned about Patricia's dreams of starting a non-profit. Patricia learned about Theo's childhood, the struggles that shaped him. At work, they were professional. Outside work, they were becoming something more. Amora noticed immediately. Children always did. Are you and Mr. Theo boyfriend and girlfriend? She asked one morning over breakfast. Patricia nearly spit out her coffee. What makes you ask that? You smile different when you talk about him. And he looks at you the way Prince Eric looks at Ariel. You're too smart for your own good, you know that? So is that a yes? Patricia considered how to answer. We're dating. Seeing if we like each other enough to be together. Of course you like each other enough. Anybody can see that. It's a little more complicated than that, baby. Why do adults make everything complicated? Patricia laughed. I wish I knew. But Amora was right. It wasn't complicated, not really. Patricia liked Theo. More than liked him. And he clearly felt the same way. The only complication was her own fear that this was too good to be true, that somehow she'd wake up and it would all disappear. One Friday evening, Theo took Patricia to a nice restaurant downtown. They sat by the window, watching the city lights come alive as the sun set. Over wine and pasta, Theo reached across the table and took her hand. I want to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest. Patricia's stomach clenched. Okay. Do you have any doubts about us? About this relationship? Because if you do, I need to know. She considered the question seriously. My only doubt is wondering why someone like you would choose someone like me. Someone like you? You mean someone brilliant, compassionate, and beautiful. Someone who was working 2 jobs a few months ago. Someone who lives in a modest apartment and drives a 10-year-old car. Someone who doesn't fit into your world. Theo squeezed her hand. You fit perfectly into my world because you make my world better. And the things you're listing aren't flaws. They're proof of your strength. You survived and kept your daughter thriving through circumstances that would have broken most people. That's not something to be ashamed of. I'm not ashamed. I'm just realistic. Then be realistic about this too. I'm falling in love with you, Patricia. Not because of gratitude or pity or any other reason except that you're an amazing woman. Can you accept that? Patricia felt tears prick her eyes. I'm falling in love with you too. And yes, I can accept it. Theo's smile could have lit the entire restaurant. Good. Because I plan to keep falling for a very long time. They finished dinner in a happy haze, talking about the future with the kind of hope Patricia hadn't felt in years. When Theo walked her to her door that night, he finally kissed her, soft and sweet and full of promise. Inside the apartment, Amora was already asleep. Patricia stood in her living room, touching her lips, feeling like a character in one of the romance novels she used to read during break time at her old job. This was her life now. This impossible, beautiful life. Her phone buzzed with a text from Theo, "Thank you for tonight. Sleep well." Patricia texted back, "Thank you for everything. You too." She went to bed with a smile on her face, unaware that complications were about to arrive. Monday morning, Patricia arrived at work to find a beautiful woman sitting in the reception area. She was everything Patricia wasn't: tall, blonde, designer clothes, the kind of polished perfection that came with money and privilege. "Can I help you?" Patricia asked politely. The woman stood, extending a manicured hand. "You must be Patricia Johnson. I'm Vanessa Morrison. I'm here to see Theodore." Something about the way she said his full name made Patricia's instincts prickle. "Do you have an appointment?" "I don't need one. Theo and I have history." Before Patricia could respond, Theo emerged from the elevator. His face went through several expressions quickly: surprise, confusion, then carefully controlled neutrality. "Vanessa. What are you doing here?" Vanessa smiled, the kind of smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Is that any way to greet an old friend? I'm back in San Francisco. I thought we should talk." "We have nothing to talk about." "Don't be like that. Surely you can spare a few minutes for someone you once cared about." Patricia watched the exchange, feeling suddenly out of place in her business casual outfit and simple jewelry. This was Theo's world, not hers. Beautiful, sophisticated people who spoke in subtext. Theo's eyes found Patricia's. "Patricia, can you reschedule my 10 o'clock? This won't take long." "Of course." She walked away, but not before catching Vanessa's satisfied smirk. In her office, Patricia tried to focus on work but couldn't stop thinking about the elegant woman in Theo's office. Who was she? An ex-girlfriend? More than that. An hour later, Nicole knocked on Patricia's door. "Hey, you okay? You look stressed." "Who's Vanessa Morrison?" Nicole's expression darkened. "Theo's ex-fiancé. They broke up 2 years ago. She left him for some hedge fund manager in New York." "Fiancé," Patricia repeated, the word sitting heavy in her chest. "It was bad. She hurt him pretty deeply. I'm surprised she has the nerve to show up here." Patricia spent the rest of the day distracted, worry gnawing at her. When Theo knocked on her office door at 5, she looked up with poorly concealed anxiety. "Can we talk?" he asked. "Of course." He closed the door and sat across from her. "I'm sorry about this morning." Vanessa showing up was completely unexpected. What did she want? "To get back together." She said leaving me was a mistake, that she realizes now what we had was special. She wants another chance. Patricia's heart sank. "What did you tell her?" "I told her no. Absolutely not. What we had is over, and I've moved on." "To me," Patricia said quietly. "You've moved on to me. Someone completely different from her." "Yes, to you. Someone better than her in every possible way." "Theo, be realistic. She's from your world. She fits in a way I never will." That's exactly why I don't want her. I don't want someone from my world. I want someone real, someone genuine, someone who sees me as a person and not a bank account. Patricia wanted to believe him, but doubt crept in. What if she causes problems? What kind of problems could she cause? They found out the next day. Patricia arrived at work to an email from HR, requesting a meeting to discuss potential conflicts of interest in her position. Her stomach dropped. In the meeting, the HR director explained that concerns had been raised about Patricia's relationship with Theo and whether it influenced her hiring and position. Someone filed a formal complaint. Patricia asked, already knowing the answer. We can't disclose who, but yes. We need to investigate to ensure everything was above board. Patricia felt sick. This job was her lifeline, her daughter's future. And now it was being questioned because she'd fallen for her boss. When she told Theo, his fury was ice-cold and controlled. This is Vanessa. She's trying to sabotage what we have. Maybe she's right to question it. Maybe I did get this job because of Amora, because you have feelings for me. You got this job because you're qualified and talented. The fact that I have feelings for you is separate. Don't let her make you doubt yourself. But the doubt had taken root. Patricia lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if accepting Theo's help had been a mistake. Wondering if she'd traded her independence for security. Wondering if this was all going to come crashing down. The investigation took a week. A week of whispers in the office, of people looking at her differently, of wondering if she was about to lose everything she'd gained. The suspense was eating her alive. The HR director called Patricia in on Friday afternoon. Her heart pounded as she sat across the desk, preparing for the worst. Ms. Johnson, we've completed our investigation. I'm pleased to inform you that we found no evidence of improper conduct in your hiring or current position. Your qualifications were thoroughly vetted, and you were selected through the proper channels. The complaint has been dismissed. Patricia felt like she could breathe again. Thank you. However, given your relationship with Mr. Castellanos, we recommend transparency moving forward. If any concerns arise, please bring them directly to HR. Of course. Thank you so much. She left the office feeling lighter, but the relief was short-lived. Theo was waiting in the hallway, his face serious. We need to talk. My office. In his private office, Theo paced like a caged animal. Vanessa went too far. She filed that complaint trying to hurt you, to drive a wedge between us. I know. I'm not going to let her win. I'm promoting you. Patricia blinked. What? You've done exceptional work these past 3 months. The community outreach program has exceeded every goal. You deserve a promotion to senior director with a corresponding salary increase. This isn't about Vanessa or us. This is about your merit. Theo, that's going to make it look like I'm rewarding talent. Good. Let it look like that, because that's exactly what I'm doing. Unless you don't want the promotion. Patricia thought about it. She'd worked hard, built programs that were genuinely helping people. She deserved recognition for that work. I want it. And I'll earn it. You already have. That evening, Theo took Patricia to dinner at the same restaurant where they'd first acknowledged their feelings. Over the meal, he reached into his jacket and pulled out a small velvet box. Patricia's breath caught. Before you panic, this isn't what you think. Not yet anyway. Theo opened the box to reveal a delicate necklace with a small diamond pendant. This is a promise. A promise that I'm serious about us, about building a future together. A promise that nothing Vanessa or anyone else does will change how I feel about you. Tears filled Patricia's eyes. It's beautiful. May I? She nodded, turning so he could fasten the necklace around her neck. The pendant settled perfectly at her collarbone. Patricia, I know these last few months have been complicated. I know accepting help hasn't been easy for you. But I need you to understand something. You didn't take advantage of my help. You accepted it with grace and used it to build something better for yourself and Amora. That takes strength, not weakness. I love you, Patricia said, the words coming easily now. I love you for seeing the best in me, even when I couldn't see it myself. I love you too. And I promise to spend every day proving that you can trust us. Would you trust a love that started from such unusual circumstances? Tell us in the comments, and subscribe to see more stories about unexpected love. 6 months later, Theo proposed properly. They were at Amora's school talent show, watching her perform a piano piece she'd been practicing for weeks. When the performance ended, Theo stood up, walked to the stage, and called Patricia forward. In front of their daughter, their friends, and a room full of surprised parents, Theo knelt down. Patricia Johnson, you and Amora changed my life the day I met you. You taught me that family isn't about blood or money or fitting into someone else's definition of success. Family is about showing up, being present, and choosing to love each other every single day. Will you marry me? Will you let me be a husband to you and a father to Amora? Patricia was crying too hard to speak, so she just nodded. Yes. Yes to everything. Amora ran to them, wrapping her arms around both adults. Does this mean Mr. Theo is going to be my daddy? If you'll have me, Theo said. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. The talent show erupted in applause. People were crying, smiling, swept up in the joy of the moment. 3 months later, they married in a small ceremony at the courthouse. Amora was the flower girl, wearing a purple dress that matched her long-heeled cast. Nicole stood as Patricia's maid of honor. A few close friends attended. It wasn't fancy or elaborate. It was perfect. After the ceremony, Theo adopted Amora legally. She became Amora Castellanos Johnson, keeping both names to honor where she came from and where she was going. They moved into a real house with a backyard where Amora could play. Patricia continued running the community outreach program, which grew to serve thousands of families. Theo continued building medical technology that made healthcare accessible. And every night, they gathered for family dinner, talking and laughing and being grateful for the random collision on a rainy sidewalk that brought them together. Vanessa Morrison tried to cause trouble a few more times, but eventually gave up and moved back to New York. Some people weren't worth the energy of hate. 5 years after that first meeting, on the anniversary of the day Amora broke her wrist, they visited the hospital together. They donated enough money to create a fund for families who couldn't afford emergency medical care. The fund was named after Amora. Do you ever regret it? Patricia asked Theo later that night, curled up together on their couch. Taking a chance on us? Every single day, Theo said, then smiled at her shocked expression. I regret that I didn't meet you sooner. That's my only regret. Patricia kissed him, soft and loving. Me too. In her bedroom, Amora slept peacefully, her once broken wrist completely healed, no trace of that scary day remaining except for a faint scar she liked to show her friends. She was loved. They all were. And sometimes that's all that matters.